All right, welcome back into another episode of Indiebnb. Today I'm joined by Jacob Augustine, coming to us live from Herman, Maine. I think it's our first guest from Maine. So, how are things up in the up at the top right of the country?
Things are well, man. Things are well. It's nice up here. Nice weather. Summertime in Maine is the time to be here, so it's nice. I'm just coming out of a long weekend of family gatherings and reunions and things, so it's been nice, man. It's nice.
Awesome, awesome. Well, something else that again is nice. I mean, you guys have you put out this "I Love for You Forever" album. It's been out for a little bit here, and again, I think like one of the things that sticks out to me is just the uniqueness of your voice, and like I want to kind of start at the beginning. As an artist for you, like. How did you develop this? Like, if anybody hasn't heard it, stop right here, go listen, and then come back. But you have one of the most unique vocal, performances. Like, where does that come from?
Thank you, Grant. Thank you, man. Well, I cut my teeth on heavy music growing up. I was in the hardcore scene.
Mm-hmm.
I played in all ages venues as a kid with bands that would come travel up from Boston and New York City. But real traditional hardcore music, like true blue kind of hardcore stuff. And I listened to a lot of different music, and eventually I got caught up on blues music. I used to play at CBGB's a lot back then, and there was a record store around the corner, and I'd save up all my money, and every time we played there, I'd run around the corner to the record store and get everything I could, and it was just a lot of really obscure music you couldn't get anywhere where I was from. And I got Martin Scorsese Presents the Blues box set, and then I started getting Robert Johnson, the 30 collection there of his tracks and some others, and then I started to learn that music, and that's when I learned that I could sing. That's where it came from. It came from me covering Delta blues music and like learning that craft, and that slowly turned into folk songs. And I always wrote acoustic music. But I didn't really know that I could sing to that capacity until I started, covering Robert Johnson songs. Yeah.
I mean, kind of a very big divergence from what you've been doing kind of in the past with the the more hardcore music. Like, I guess twofold. One, like, what did the people, as you were starting to go buy those records around the corner, were they like, "Why are you listening to that stuff?" Or were they like, "Oh man, that's just an element of what we're doing, but just a little bit different"?
No, they were more just like interested. We were all very interested in everything. So like we were a heavier band and we were a hardcore band, but we eventually kind of morphed into we got our hands into Mr. Bungle and Faith No More and bands like that. Some of the more avant-garde weird stuff. So we were always really open-minded to everything. I mean, when I was a kid, I was listening to Sepultura and Slayer and Sick of It All. Rest in peace to the singer of Sick of It All who just passed away. But also I was listening to Michael Jackson Thriller too. And I was listening to Jimi Hendrix, and I was listening to B.B. King and Bob Dylan, and so my mom was and dad were grew up in the 60s and 70s, so like we were kind of always into everything. And the band was disappointed when I decided to break from it and start doing my own music, but it was kind of the writing had been on the wall for a while.
I gotcha. What did when you go and write, like by trade, are you guitar based, are you piano based? Like what's kind of the the basing for kind of as you build your music?
Mostly vocal based, melody based. So I'll come up with melodies, and I'll usually notebook those melodies on some kind of device. These days phones. Just pull up the voice memo. If I get a melody idea, then the melody comes. And then when I have enough of them stacked up, I'll just kind of sit, on a park bench somewhere or just wherever. And then I'll write the entire song lyrically on a page without a guitar in my hand or anything. And then after that, I'll go back and grab a guitar and then figure out what the chords might be or what's going to happen there. In the earlier days, it was all riff first, guitar first music. But with this stuff, it's more melody, vocal first, and but I'm kind of moving away from that a little bit these days. I'm writing a lot of new material. I just bought a new Strat this year, so I'm kind of getting back into my guitar roots more, and the stuff I'm working on these days is I've shifted onto the road of riff first, guitar stuff first, and then melody and vocal later. We'll see if that works out though. It might just end up being something that's not that good. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think like that's you kind of get the you get the itch, and it seems like it goes in cycles a little bit. So I mean, excited to hear the the guitar based version, but for you, I Love You Forever, this album, for you, what does it mean to you, as you released it? And, I know there were some, obviously external factors. If you want to get into that, you can, but, talk me through, kind of the inspiration for the album.
Really just a long time coming, man. Like this album was recorded in 2015. So this album's 11 years old. I was writing a lot back then, and they were just all kind of coming together. And I had some loss in my family, and I was going through some struggles with my mom being sick and some other things. And so we kind of got this album finished, like recorded anyway. And then I just kind of dropped off the face of the earth for a pretty long time, and then very, very slow crawl back up the mountain to finally decide to release the album. So I think what it means to me is, I guess it's like perseverance for me personally, just to like push through mental health struggle and push through a lot of really negative, horrible shit, and somehow manage to get this thing finished and put out and released into the world, and that people are listening to it. Is almost like it was like the album that was never going to exist kind of thing. It's just it was just sitting there forever. And and so for me, it's kind of personally a testament to it's a reflection of my life and my struggles, and a reflection of my mom's struggles with her battle and her sickness she had to deal with. But overall, like in this moment today, it's just like maybe my proudest moment in my life. Like to be able to finally get this thing out and it's being really well received, and to be able to perform it live for people and to see its effect on people. It's pretty affirming for me to continue on with my musical path and, keep grinding.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, as you were getting kind of crawling up, right, and getting back into it, and that first time you listened to it after a few years, like, were they things that you recognized that you were like, or were you like, man, like that is like exactly how it should be, or were there things that you started to kind of like, hey, I need to go back and tweak that a little bit, like, once you kind of are, over that, you have your head above water a little bit. What were some of the things that when you went back and listened, like that you wanted to change or keep the same?
There was, I mean, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so for me, when I listen to the album, I'm like, yeah, I could have retaked every vocal on the entire thing. That's like, it's a weird thing to listen to an album after 10 years and listen to yourself 10 years ago. And I'm so much of a better performer now. I understand my instrument, especially my vocal, more so now than ever before. So when I listen to it, it sounds like somebody who doesn't know what they're doing at all. But I mean, for most people, they hear it and they're like, "Oh, this is beautiful," and and it is. It's good. But for me, as personally on a vocal take performance type of vibe, I just hear a kid. You know what I mean? I don't hear. I hear a kid trying really hard and singing really hard and like maybe singing a little too hard and maybe pushing it a little too much. But I think in the end, the emotional content came across even harder because of that. So overall, I'm pretty happy. I can get a little cringy at times, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, sonically, we record it in a living room, so sometimes I can. You get the wishes like, oh, I sure wish we recorded the drums in a live drum room, or I sure wish this or that, or I sure wish we bass trapped the living room or something. At the end of the day, like a successful recording is it's almost like when you're, it's like I don't know if this is an old saying with mixing or not, but it might be, but it's my saying anyway. It's that, you know, if a recording of music can move you, it's finished and it's good. You know what I mean? If it could be a bedroom recording, it could be recorded at, you know, Electric Ladyland in New York City. But if it moves you, it's done. And if you want it to be polished a little more or something, sure. But if it moves you, you've done your job, and you'll be able to pick anything. Like any artist, you'll pick apart your work until you're dead, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
you know, it does on the right day. If I, you know, take a few hits off a little joint or something, and like detach from my own whatever ownership or responsibility of it, like I can really appreciate it and be moved by it, and have a few tears come. And so in that respect, it's a success, and I guess I wouldn't change really anything about it. You know, it's just.
I love it. I love it. I mean, going back and hearing yourself, you know, 10 years ago, and you now you play the songs live, you know, how like as you've been able to kind of get into the touring aspect, and you know, we were here in April down at Culture Shock in Atlanta. You know, we're Atlanta based, so
Cool.
shout out them. And you know, but you know, as you've gone and toured this, like, you know, what's the feedback been from, you know, crowds and everybody? Like, you know, has it been, you know, rewarding to kind of see this, you know, project through, and, you know, 11 years later, you're putting in front of people live?
Yeah, it's super rewarding, man. I mean, the response has been kind of crazy. I mean, you get a lot of sniffling, a lot of wet faces at the end of the night. You know, I had someone come up to me at a show in Ohio and said, "My friend wanted you to know that it was a really wonderful set, but they just couldn't handle it and they had to leave because they started to cry. They couldn't stop, and it just became ugly crying, and they had to leave, but they wanted you to know they loved it." I get a lot of things like that. I was touring in the United Kingdom, and there was a woman there with her husband, and she was visibly distraught. And she came up to me afterwards out on the sidewalk and like expressed how much it meant to her, and because she had a lot of trauma, and it was really speaking to her. And her husband was like, "I've been carrying this in my pocket for like 10 years, 15 years or something." And he like pulled out this old lucky coin of like Winston Churchill coin. That was like this rare coin. It's like 80 years coin.
Wow.
This has been my lucky coin for like almost for tons of years, many years of my life, 15 years or something. He just gave it to me. But yeah, it's been really well received. I mean, usually it has quite an emotional impact on people. Like, it tends to shake people up pretty heavily. So in that respect, it makes me feel very good about putting it out to see like the kind of medicine that it can be for others, you know. And it's validating that it was worthy enough to be alive and to exist out there in the world. And now to see every new set of ears like hear it, it's like now it's theirs. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to like meet all these new people who own these songs too, you know. And it's like they get to kind of coddle the child and have it be their thing too. And it gives you a sense of pride and accomplishment, and it makes you feel like you're doing good spiritual work too. And because in the end of the day, you know, music and all art is like a gift to humanity and a gift to each other. And it's nice to see these sounds finding homes in people's hearts. You know, it makes me want to keep going and do better, and hopefully the next one's better, and the next one's better, and people will still keep kind of grabbing onto it. But it's been great, man. I've never really been happier. I've been seeing what it's. It makes it worth it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, it makes it so worth it to see that. You know, I don't live the life of Riley or anything. Like I am not some. I'm not rolling around in some Sprinter van. You know what I mean? Like sleeping in hotel rooms or anything. So music life has always been a strong struggle for me, as I'm sure it is for most people. Most people put it down by now. You know, but I can't. I've never been able to. Even if I've taken big breaks, I've never really been able to. So that's like the big payoff, is to see that effect. And it's like, okay, this is good. This is worth it. And you know, anyway, I probably got a little off track.
No. I mean, I think that really kind of puts the perspective, and as people are, you know, looking to do something in Raleigh, North Carolina on August 20th, I mean, they need to, get their tickets and, be ready to share the emotions and, get ready to enjoy an evening with you. So what's the setup like? If we were, if I'm living in Raleigh, what am I expecting when I walk in that show? Is it, you and a guitar? Is it, a full band? What's kind of the setup there?
Well, this tour was, and this is going to be sad news for some folks maybe, but this tour was just initially supposed to be a full band tour, the whole run.
Mm-hmm.
But because of different financial things, and we aren't able to do it. So for Raleigh, they should expect me with an electric guitar on the stage by myself. The folks in Providence and Brooklyn and Philly get to see a three-piece band, and that's about it for full band stuff for this tour. It was supposed to be a full band tour, but it's tough out there, man, and we just couldn't quite put it together. But yeah, I would expect a solo show. But one person reviewed me in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and said my solo show is like a one-man orchestra. So hopefully people feel like ridiculous.
They're getting their money's worth.
yeah. Hopefully, if it's probably going to be just me, and it should be okay though.
All right, and we're back. Sometimes we get a couple technical difficulties. No big deal. We keep rolling, but we were talking through with Jacob the Raleigh tour. He's the Raleigh show he's got coming up August 20th. Jay, I want to give you an opportunity, just kind of any other dates. You mentioned a few there. If you want to throw those out there, and then where people can find more tunes, and as what's in the future, I guess what's the future hold for you?
Well, future holds. I'm going on tour August 13th. I'm starting in Providence, and I'll be heading down down the East Coast to Raleigh. And I think the closest I'll be getting to your neck of the woods in Atlanta would be Knoxville at the Pilot Light.
Nice.
I'll be in Nashville on that tour, Louisville, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, Chicago, Lorain, Ohio, Akron, Ohio, Hudson, New York, most likely, Beckett, Massachusetts, in Brooklyn, Philly, near Baltimore, Richmond. It's about 18 dates total. And then probably be pushing off on another one, kind of like a house concert thing, in the fall, but late fall. We'll see about that. I'll be back overseas again for the winter, so there's a possibility of some more UK shows. I toured UK earlier this year, so that could be happening. The next records, Bones, have been recorded, so next year we'll probably be dropping another one. And hopefully we'll be shooting a little in-studio kind of live performance with the whole band from the record too this summer, and that should probably be coming out on YouTube or something, before the year's up. So everyone will be able to get a nice slice of the proper live show. Generally with the whole crew and we're close to home, it's like myself with an electric, a bass player, a drummer, pedal steel player, and someone on a fiddle, or three-piece with an electric guitar extra. So most of the time when we're close to home, it's more filled out like the album is. Further away from home we get, the more solo it becomes.
Got it. Well,
hopefully at the point we'll be able to have the whole crew out and do the whole country, as the full team.
I love it. Well, in the meantime, everybody can get that, get that studio on, or that studio session, potentially, this summer on your YouTube. And again, we'll have all the links for Jacob's music, in the bio here. Follow him on, the Spotify's, the Apple Music's, all of the places that you're consuming things, and look forward to that, that album, dropping next year. Is it, is it anything, again, as you've, kind of toured off the I Love You Forever album, where in comparison do you go musically on the next one? Where are we heading?
I kind of got it into my head at one point years ago that oh, you're being too clever. Stop being so clever. It's, just everything doesn't have to be so abstract all the time. Things like this, because I'm a very automatic writer. I don't sit down and write a song about something. It just kind of comes in stream of consciousness and stuff like that. And I'm like a big fan of really old music from the 40s and 50s, and real classic songs like Roy Orbison and like stuff like that. So I brought a challenge onto myself at some time in the last chunk of years, like, why don't you try to write some classic songs that aren't trying to be so clever, just nickel and dime rhymes and simple things and songs about love and stuff that isn't about the whole world getting torn apart, which is pretty much what every record I've ever put out reflects. It's usually just the state of our planet and what's happening in our realities, which I think is really important and our responsibility. But for whatever reason, I decided to try to write some more simple things. So it's more like simpler, like crooner type music, and it's a little bit more geared towards original country music like Hank Sr. and not sonically so much, but like in song structure and lyric, it's a little less complicated. And it's, I've been on the fence about even releasing it at all, or whether to just do something different, because it does feel like a pretty drastic jump from I Love You Forever to this next thing. So, but that's kind of what it's been. It's I played it for a friend of mine. I shared a link with a friend of mine recently, and I was telling her how I don't think it's heavy enough. I think it's just too much of a cool breeze. It's too much of a jump in a cool lake or something compared to I Love You Forever. It's like this churning turmoil. But she actually said that she's like, it's easier to listen to, but it's probably more heartbreaking than that is. But it just sounds, it's just easier to hear. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We're still going to do some string arrangement on it and some other things, and then after that, we're probably hitting into more of a rock world, and it's going to get probably heavier as it goes. That's the kind of the trajectory, right? With the guitar first music. That's not this record I'm talking about now. That's the one after. Yeah. And that stuff's going to kind of we'll get a little bit more into maybe an indie rock zone or shoegazy type, electric guitar music. I was a guitar player first, so I felt like once I started writing folk songs and this kind of stuff, I got really lazy, and it just kind of hit me. I think MJ Lenderman actually inspired me a lot with it, and like a lot of the great bands, the post-punk bands, and like some of the prog bands out there, like King Gizzard, and like there's just a lot of guitar music out there that I really like a lot, and I'm like, well, I can actually play the guitar pretty well. I started with metal and prog metal, and so I've got a bit of a skill set there, and I just kind of been kicking myself like, you should probably stop being so lazy and stop strumming simple chords and maybe try to deal with something more than that. But I don't know. We'll see, man.
I love it.
I grab stuff and I chuck it away just as quickly, so it's almost like it's just almost a surprise to me to see what the actual next thing is, So we'll see. I'm sure. I hope it's good. The older you get, the more fearful you get that it isn't going to be good. So I hope. You always hope you still got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think having some different having the kind of the different phases and challenging yourself, I think is definitely admirable, and like being able to just have having multiple ways to kind of communicate your music is going to be great for, hey, look, if you think long term, hey, the show in 2029 is going to be epic because you're going to have I Love You Forever. We're going to be able to get like the turmoil and get the sadness, and then we're going to go and kind of be a little bit more, feeling, simplified and honky tonk and, all of that stuff. And then we're going to, rip right into the next stratosphere with, some kind of, prog rock. So I think like you're building towards, an epic type of show. So, I'm excited to see where it goes, man.
I hope it delivers, man. I'll try. Yeah. I'll do my best for you, Grant.
I appreciate it. Well, Speaking of which, I want to kind of change it up here, and we'll end on the Pete Peterson party pack of questions. And I put these questions together. It's been conquered by many, and Jacob, I have no doubts that you'll dominate this as well. It'll be a kind of a rapid fire, 20 questions right in a row. So Pete Peterson's party pack of questions: cake or pie? Jacob Augustine, what are you getting up there in Maine?
Pie.
He's pieing it up. I like it. All right, salad or soup?
Soup.
Soup. I like it. All right. Sunrise or sunset? What are you seeing more of these days?
Sunset.
Sunset.
Sunrise only with poor decisions.
Makes sense. All right. Would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
I would rather hit a home run.
Homer. All right. Night in or night out?
The point like the bamboo before I did it. A point like Babe Ruth.
I love it.
Then off it goes.
Call your shot.
Yeah, that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah. I like it. All right. Night in or night out? What are you having more of these days?
Oh, night in, mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
Night out is work, so night in is the norm.
Yeah. All right. When you do go out and maybe you stay out after the show and your jam comes on, are you more likely to hit the robot or the worm on the dance floor?
Oh, I would say probably the robot. I think the worm might leave me injured, in need of ambulance.
Gotta keep it healthy. I like it. All right. Guac or queso at your favorite Tex-Mex spot?
That's tough, but I'm gonna go queso fundido for sure. Yeah, queso.
Oh yeah.
The unhealthy option. Yeah, I'm a big Elvis fan, so I'm probably going with the cheese over the vegetable.
I like it. All right. Waffles or pancakes?
That's difficult. That's a really difficult question. I'm going pancakes.
Pancakes. Is Maine close to Vermont? You got the maple syrup right there, right?
Oh yes. We got the Maine maple syrup here as well. Yeah.
Okay.
We got our maple up here too.
I love it.
Huge fan. Right.
Coffee or tea with your pancakes?
Coffee for sure.
Love it. All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay. All right. Are you more like a ninja or a pirate?
I am probably more like a ninja. Yeah.
Okay. Swift. We like it. All right. Chips or pretzels?
Chips.
Love it.
Unless I'm in Philly, and then the Philly pretzel.
Okay. All right. Fries or tots?
I'm gonna go tots. Fries can be inconsistent. Tots are consistent.
It's interesting. A lot of people will go fries because they feel more versatile, but I think tots with the consistency is something that people should be saying more of. I agree with you. I agree with you. TV show or a movie after a long day?
I'm more of a movie guy. I like the movie better.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Are aliens real?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If you were a fruit, what kind of fruit would you be?
I would be a dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit. All right. I like it. Is love at first sight real?
Yes.
I love it. Okay. And you mentioned a couple bands, but give us two bands that we ought to check out that we might not know.
Let me think here real quick. Why don't y'all go check out? I'm going to go... This is a tricky one. So many. I would check out Ziona Riley out of Nashville. Who's a wonderful folk singer, songwriter. And I would recommend, I'll flip the switch to a different kind of genre. I would recommend the band Proto Martyr from Detroit. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. And they have a new album coming out at the end of this year sometime. But yeah, Proto Martyr will be my second.
All right, so I got Ziona Riley and Proto Martyr.
Yeah.
Am I saying those right? I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a couple good recs there, and Jacob, you have conquered the Pete Peterson party pack of questions. He listed off his dates. They're to be found also, on all of his, social and all the things. So they'll be listed below here, and we'll check him out. If he's coming to your town, you have the opportunity to go have an evening of wonderful music, and look forward to seeing what Jacob does in the future here, and can't wait to see you back here in Atlanta at some point.
Righteous. Thank you, Grant.
Of course. Thank you.